The strongest ninjutsu of the 5 major attributes. Nature transformation is the addition of specific properties to ordinary chakra to create more powerful ninjutsu. There are 5 types of this nature transformation: fire release, wind release, lightning release, earth release, and water release, and collectively, they are called the 5 major nature transformations. As the name implies, there are colorful ninjutsu that use fire, wood, etc., which made the battles between shinobi more colorful. And some of them are so powerful that they stand out from other ninjutsu. Therefore, this time we have selected the most powerful ninjutsu for each of the 5 basic natures transformation. I would appreciate it if you could leave your comments and your own thoughts on the selection of the best ninjutsu for each of the 5 major property changes. Fire release, great fire destruction. The strongest fire release ninjutsu is great fire destruction. Fire release is an attack-specific nature transformation that produces a high heat flame and was the Uchiha clan's specialty. The most powerful ninjutsu is the Uchiha clan's masterpiece, Uchiha Madara. In fire release jutsu, many techniques involve simply exhaling flames from the mouth and fire release. Great fire annihilation is indeed one of such jutsu. However, the power of this technique is, of course, extraordinary and can truly be called the pinnacle of its kind. This technique produces flames over a very wide area, and its power is such that it can burn an entire area. In the film, Madara, with Susanoo activated, uses fire release, great fire destruction. The size of the flames was several dozen times that of Susanoo. A fire release of this magnitude is impossible for a normal fire release, and is an attack that most shinobi would not be able to avoid. It is only because Madara was a great genius that he was able to perform a technique on this scale. The highest level of fire release ninjutsu is undoubtedly the fire release, great fire destruction. Wind release, ultra big ball Rasen Shuriken. Next is the most powerful wind release jutsu. Wind release has the property of cutting through the target like a blade, and was the specialty of shinobi of Tsunegakure, Naruto, and others. The most powerful ninjutsu is the wind release jutsu, ultra big ball Rasen Shuriken. The user of the technique is, of course, Naruto Uzumaki. First, the normal wind release, Rasen Shuriken, is created by adding a wind nature transformation to Naruto's eponymous Rasengan. Then Naruto, in Krama mode, borrows chakra from the Ninetales and further strengthens it into the wind release, ultra big ball Rasen Shuriken. As the name implies, the spiral shuriken is huge, and its power is correspondingly increased. The normal wind release, Rasen Shuriken, slices the enemy with countless wind release chakra. Therefore, in this enhanced version, the sharpness and scale of each attack is also greatly increased. In the work, however, this technique is activated at the same time as Sasuke's flame release, Susanoo, Kagetsuchi earth release, to support Sasuke's technique. In fact, the power of this technique by itself is not clear. However, even the normal wind release, Rasen Shuriken, is one of the most powerful wind release jutsu. The wind release, ultra big ball Rasen Shuriken, which greatly amplifies its power, should indeed be the most powerful wind release. Lightning release, Hell Stab, One Finger Nukite. Next is the most powerful ninjutsu of lightning release. Lightning release, which has the property of electrocuting those it touches, was the specialty of shinobi in Kumogakure, Sasuke, and others. The strongest ninjutsu is probably the Hell Stab, One Finger Nukite. The user of the jutsu is the third Raikage, who is said to have been able to cross paths with tailed beasts in the flesh. This jutsu is a thrusting technique that goes well with lightning release, which activates the physical body. It is quite similar to Sasuke's, Chidori, and Kakashi's lightning blade. The Hell Stab of the third Raikage changes its name to Four-Finger Nukite or Three-Finger Nukite depending on the number of fingers used. The Hell Stab, One Finger Nukite, in which all the power is concentrated, in a single finger is considered to have the highest offensive power among Hell stabs. In one scene in the work, this Hell stab one-finger Nukite pierced the body of the third Raikage himself, who was called the strongest shield. This Raikage's body boasted a strength of another dimension and was truly worthy of the name the strongest shield. It even blocked Naruto's wind release, Rasen Shuriken, with just its own body. Naruto tactfully arranged for the Raikage to attack Naruto himself with Hell Stab one-finger Nukite, which actually pierced his own body. As already mentioned, wind release, Rasen Shuriken, is also a very powerful ninjutsu. Therefore, Hell Stab one-finger Nukite, which is even more powerful than it, is truly the most powerful. Lightning release. Earth release, Earth-style jutsu. Next is the most powerful ninjutsu of Earth release. Earth release, a nature transformation that can change the hardness and composition of matter, was the specialty of the shinobi of Iwagakure. The most powerful ninjutsu is the Earth release, Earth-style jutsu. The user of the jutsu is Kitsuchi, a jounin of Iwagakure, who also served as a troop leader during the Fourth Shinobi World War. This jutsu produces two oversized rocks and crushes the opponent between them. Each rock is more than twice as long as the massive demonic statue of the outer path, making it impossible for the target of the jutsu to escape. Furthermore, since Earth release has the property of hardening matter, the rocks are not only large, but also very hard. In other words, it is a technique that creates a situation where it is difficult to escape or destroy and crushes the enemy with overwhelming power. In the work, this Earth release, Earth-style jutsu was used to seal the summoning jutsu demonic statue of the outer path that Obito had summoned. Unfortunately, however, this technique was defeated by the extraordinary power of the demonic statue of the outer path. However, it is appropriate to consider that the demonic statue of the outer path was too powerful. In fact, the fact that the demonic statue of the outer path was even slightly slowed down should be enough to show its power. This Earth release, Earth-style jutsu is an extremely powerful ninjutsu with sufficient offensive power on its own. Water release, water prison shark dance technique. Lastly, I would like to introduce the strongest ninjutsu of water release. Water release is compatible with a wide variety of shape transformation and was the specialty of the Kirigakure no Shinobi and the second Hokage. The strongest ninjutsu is the water prison shark dance jutsu. The user of the jutsu is Kisame Hashigaki Kisame, who was a leading member of Akatsuki. This jutsu utilizes a large amount of water to create a huge spherical water prison jutsu, in which the opponent is trapped. At this time, the Kisame fused with the Daitu, sharkskin, and took on the form of a half-fishman. This allows it to breathe through its gills and move around freely in this water prison. On the other hand, of course, the opponent cannot breathe underwater, so he tries to escape somehow. However, since this water prison moves around the Kisame, it is impossible to escape without pulling the Kisame out of the water. However, it is extremely difficult to escape from a Kisame that has gained an advantage over you. It is a terrifying technique that almost guarantees that you will be preyed upon by Kisame underwater. In the film, this water prison shark dance jutsu is used to bring Killer Bee, who is also known as the perfect Jinchuriki, to the brink of extinction. The idea of this jutsu itself, to trap the opponent underwater, is simple, but once the technique is set, it can be used to create a one-sided situation. It is a powerful technique, almost like a frame-up. Small story. Here is a little tidbit about the 5 basic natures transformation. It is about the compatibility between the 5 properties. As we have seen, there is compatibility between the 5 major nature transformations. Specifically, there are those who are good at fire release, wind release, lightning release, earth release, water release, fire release, and those who are bad at each. One battle in which this affinity is particularly evident is the Sasuke vs. Deidara battle. During this battle, Deidara was using earth release explosive clay. Sasuke then poured lightning release chakra into this explosive clay, making it a dud. In this battle, the relationship between lightning release and earth release was faithfully portrayed. In some respects, however, the relationship between these properties is not fully reflected in the work. Particularly impressive are the scenes concerning the third Raikage, who was revived in the fourth Shinobi World War. First of all, as we saw earlier, earth release is weak against lightning release. However, there is a scene in which the Shinobi allied forces create a wall of earth release in response to the lightning release attack by the Raikage. This meant that they built a wall with the worst compatibility against the lightning release attack. Therefore, to a reader who understands the 5 basic natures transformation, this may seem like a very strange behavior. However, this does not mean that this behavior cannot be defended at all. Earth release is a defensive ninjutsu suitable for building physically solid walls. Wind release jutsu, which is stronger than lightning release, has fewer defensive ninjutsu. Nevertheless, we have had a Chiguratsu fight so far, haven't we? Considering this, it may be no wonder that the setting of the compatibility of the sense of nature seems to have been left out of Naruto's work. Conclusion. In this article, I have introduced the strongest techniques of the 5 major quality ninjutsu that appear in Naruto. There are a variety of techniques, but at the end of the story, there are so many Kekkei Genkai, Genjutsu, and Taijutsu that these 5 major characteristics seem to be a little weak. However, wind release and lightning release were exceptionally strong, and I was glad to have been able to play an active role in those areas until the end. Which of the 5 great ninjutsu do you think is the strongest? I would be happy if you could comment on it. Thank you very much for watching until the end.